How's it going, everybody? FCB here. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing fantastic. And I hope you're all in amazing spirits. And welcome to The Pulse here on the Freedom Channel broadcast. My. Lots going on, isn't there? The world is absolutely on fire, isn't it? It certainly is. And so welcome to The Pulse, part 3 of Golden Domes. Yes. President Trump has created a variety of different golden domes, and this is the part 3 of it. And I'm going to take you on a journey, ladies and gentlemen, as far as the Fed. We're going to be speaking about the Fed, the mechanisms, and what President Trump's comms that has been given us through Truth Social actually mean. Now, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, the world is on fire. And you can see what's going on. Especially President Trump has come out and said about Russia, okay, that Putin is gone crazy, bombing all these different cities in the Ukraine and all that. However, we're going to be playing that little presser of President Trump, or gaggle, when he was next to Air Force One. Now, he said he's crazy, he's this, he's that, but hold on a minute. Putin had an assassination attempt. He was in a helicopter and he was swarmed by the Ukrainian drones, ladies and gentlemen. Now, that is a threat. Now, just think about this. If you're president, just say President Trump was in that situation, and just say the Ukraine did something like that to him or another country, put it this way, that country will either be, how shall we say, if the Ukraine did it, there'll be a big, massive hole in the Ukraine if they did that to the commander-in-chief. Or there would have been major special operations taking place and the Ukraine would have been shut down and they would have gone after those involved. So that would have been the case. Now, we've got to remember there are controlled military operations taking place, done by design, and this future will prove past. That's exactly what's going on. And we're going to go through the many reasons why this is happening right now. However, let's talk about this one right here. The new COVID strain from China. I would say that's definitely a future proves past situation. Now that it led to a massive spike in hospitalisation that spread to the US, including New York City. Rightio. What's really going on? Well, I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that this right here is a future-proof past situation. It's about bringing a narrative back into public consciousness. And how I'm going to show you is using mathematics, decoding methods. And this is the thing, ladies and gentlemen, when you know, you know. Highly infectious new COVID strain from China that led to a massive spike in hospitalizations has spread to the US, including New York City. Now, obviously, the survey said, or as I like to say, the people that comment, not here we go again, what a bunch of bullshit. That's the thing that you get, the general basically consensus as to what people are saying. However, as I said, let's go and do the maths. Number one, the new strain is called NB181. Also, the COVID is called COVID-19 strain. Hold on a minute. Didn't they call it 19 because of 2019? The last time I checked, it's 2025. Shouldn't it be called COVID-25? No, it's not, because it's a future proves past, and we all know what 19 means. We know this is definitely a wider production, and I'll tell you why, ladies and gentlemen. Please pay attention to your screen. Number one, COVID-19, right? 19, we know 2019, that's when the original one came out. Why isn't it called COVID-25? We continue on with these variations of strains. I mean, seriously. And let's have a look at the strain. Number one, the strain is MB181. Time to do a bit of mathematics, ladies and gentlemen. NB 181, N equals 14, B equals 2. Therefore, what do? We add these numbers up. We get number 1, 1 plus 8 plus 1 equals 10, right? And then we got the other, okay? We got the other stuff going on, which is 14 and 2. 1 plus 4 plus 2 equals 17, which equals Q. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is definitely a white hat production. 5 of 5, comms are clear. Thank you very much, President Trump. We know that you're in control, and we know this is definitely a white hat production. It's necessary in order to bring in, as I said, a future-proof past scenario. Let's go through those numbers again. N equals 14. Now, what matrix do we use? Number 1, we use this matrix right here. Q drop 40, right? It shows us how to decode 4, 10, 20 using the alphabet. 4 equals D, 10 equals J, 20 equals T. That's the matrix we use. Therefore, based on this matrix, we go N equals 14, B equals 2. 1 plus 4 equals 5 plus 2 equals 7. Then we got the 181. 1 plus 8 plus 1 equals 17 equals Q. And you can see, ladies and gentlemen, that's where it means to know, stand in your power and not be like the others, sitting around and worrying and carrying on. No. Don't be like that. We stand in our power. That's where it means to use knowledge is power, as Q says. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. And we're just getting started. Now, as I said, that right there is a future-proof past scenario. Now, let's have a look, shall we, what the survey says, because it's very interesting to see what people say. Not doing this nonsense again. Nope. Washington Ghost. Not doing this nonsense again. And I don't blame these people. Be right back, Derek says. On my way to get another booster. This makes 12 so far. I'm not playing around with COVID. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. People are waking up to the bullshit. You can see that the survey says here that we've had enough. And can you blame them? Can you blame them being on the merry-go-round of crap? No, you cannot. You cannot at all. Now, as I said, this is all done by design. And, you think about it. China. Oh, no, it came from the bats. No. Remember what President Trump said? Wuhan? All right, and I remember back in the day, good old COVID, with the masks. Do you remember the box? And I can tell you right there, I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. We've all seen it. It's in the Q drops, the box, and at the back of it, what did it say the mask came from? Wuhan. Okay, now, highly infectious new COVID strain, and here we go, massive spike. And you can see, why are the white hats doing this as well? It's a future-proof past. Now that we've established that President Trump is right all along, that it came from China, when they were saying, no, you're a bunch of, you're saying, that it's from China, no. You had Fauci and all the gang saying it was from bats. Now it's a future-proof past scenario, and people can see this thing that, President Trump was right all along. China. Yes. And then you see, as I said, what are people saying? Instead of having that fear element, as in what they said in the comments, no, we're not buying this crap again. We're not going to be partaking in this anymore. And basically, the survey said, let me give you the middle finger. And that's what it means. No one's biting the garbage. And you can see, ladies and gentlemen, as well, when we use the mathematics, as Q says, how many coincidences before it becomes mathematically impossible? And we add these numbers up, as I've shown you before, and it equals 17 equals Q, which is the calling card of the white hats, which is further proof. And that's what I mean. You got to look at things in a logical, as the observer, not the absorber. Those that absorb are going to be partaking in this little shit fest, shall we say. But no. Judging from what people are saying, the mass consciousness, you can see that's translating in the comment section, right? In that particular post, people have had enough. And the whiteheads are watching, and don't you worry, they're looking at it and they're saying, you finally got it. Because remember back in the day, everybody was jumping on board the fear porn express train, and there are still those that are going to do it. Oh, the deep state are operating. No, they're not. They're not. They're not operating at all. This is what I'm saying. This is all necessary. Now, we are basically heading towards World War III scare event. And I've been saying this for many years, ladies and gentlemen, and those who follow me from the very beginning till now can see that I've been right all along. Yeah, that's the new hat I should get. FCB was right all along. Because I've been saying about scare event necessary. I mean, Q's been saying about it, Q drop 521, over and over again. I've been saying, I actually predicted, and I actually said it, that Russia was going to go to war with Ukraine before it actually happened. And it did happen. I've been saying as well that we are going to have a World War III scare event. And I've been right again. We're heading towards the end game. Q drop 521. We are fighting for life. We are fighting for good. We are at war. Not everything will be clean. No, it won't, because it's got to seem real. These are controlled military operations that need to take place. And how do we know that? Because it says it right there, scare necessary event. Also, we are in control. Who's in control? And have a look at the top. Do you trust the US military? Do you trust the chain of command? Well, there you go. And the reason why we've been chosen, ladies and gentlemen, is because we are the beacons of light. We certainly are the beacons of light. Never forget that. We have been chosen, and we, think about it. We should be in the attitude of gratitude that Q has given us this highest level of intel so we can use. Because when the time does come, guess what? These people out there are going to be trying to find their local conspiracy theorist for them to, obviously get the real take. And never forget, ladies and gentlemen, where we go one, we go all. We're all in this together. Not one is above each other. We're all in this together. And that's what I'm saying. That this is all necessary because why? Why is this happening? Because number one, we need the whole financial system that was created by the cabal, not only all the mechanisms, all that corrupt evil to be taken down in one foul swoop. There's going to be cyber attacks, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be things that are going to bring this whole system down. Now, after all, we are living in the world of artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence will be deployed to be able to make this happen. Obviously, they'll be using this kind of technology and cyber attacks. Now, we've had a taste already of what cyber attacks can do. You know what I mean? We've had a taste of what we're about to, about to come our way. And things are going to escalate. And escalate they will. And as I've said, people have been saying, oh, no, he's making peace with Putin now. He's making peace with Iran. No. And I've been the one going in the other direction and saying, don't say that. I've always known, ladies and gentlemen, that this was going to be the case. Now think about this. Wasn't it Hillary's job to bring down America? I mean, Obama did it for 8 years. Hillary was supposed to take place and do it. She was intercepted by President Trump, right? They thought she was going to win. Guess what? She was going to bring in World War III. That says it in the Q drops. Now, future will prove past. And they were supposed to bring in World War III, just like between the US and Russia being the main players, but also China, North Korea, and Iran. Now, would you say that the mass consciousness has been seeded? Yes. Leave the world behind. Remember, the masses watch Netflix. Oh, I love my Netflix. I'll sit down and watch it on the lounge while I'm eating my popcorn. Yeah, no, enjoy your popcorn. Enjoy that little movie over there that, about Leave the World Behind that FCB decoded, and I worked it all out. And if you haven't seen it, watch my decode too on the Freedom Channel broadcast. It's coming their way. In Leave the World Behind, you've got that cyber attacks, you got Iran involved, you got North Korea, you got China, you got Russia, you've got a coup d'etat, which what they try to do to President Trump. You got the Havana syndrome, which is to do with frequency weapons, is what they used on us as well. Wait till this all, comes out, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's all been seeded in the mass consciousness. Oh, what a great movie that was. No, just make sure that you remember what you watched. That's my advice to the masses, because what you watched to what is coming your way, that's just a little taste. You know what I mean? Prepare yourselves. And it has all been necessary because people need to reach their hour of humility, because think about it this way. If it doesn't happen, then it's just going to continue on. The debauchery is going to continue on. The debt slavery system is going to continue on. The illusion that we're operating as a variety of different countries is going to continue on. The illusion that we've got a King Charles and all that sort of, the royal family and all. No, that's another illusion. Oh, yes, Canada better get used to the idea that they're part of the 51 states. Oh, you better. Number one, I've got the documents to prove it. Number two, okay, King Charles came recently and he basically gave a speech. Yes, that little speech right there was to get Canada warmed up to the idea that things are going to change very soon. Okay? You got to read between the lines. And, we are heading towards uncharted waters. Now, what are we seeing? What's going on out there? We're seeing a lot of escalation. Number one, Israel. State of Israel is still, this Gaza bombing, and Houthis are still bombing them, and it's just on. Then you got also what's going on with China. China doesn't like the Golden Dome idea. No, they don't, because they said that if President Trump does it, that means they have to escalate their little plans. North Korea obviously don't like it as well. Russia don't like it. Basically, you could see that the world's on fire. To put it plainly, the Ukraine has been used as a money box. That's why you got the EU constantly pumping money. That's why you got the Western countries pumping in money, because it's not about helping the Ukraine; it's about helping themselves. Because the Ukraine has been used as a way of putting money in their pockets from the taxpayer. So, in other words, we're helping the Ukraine, everybody. Don't worry about the flood that's, taken over your town and destroyed everything. No, don't worry about that. As long as the Ukraine, are able to protect their borders, able to get their money that they need, don't worry about your backyard. No, that's because they've been pumping money into that place, and it's been one big fat money box and a way of getting, it's like money laundering. You know what I mean? You need to clean money. How do you get money from point A to point B? You got to use an excuse, right? So what do? Oh, US aid, worldwide aid. That's the excuse. And I've shown you that in the previous polls. Pump money into the Ukraine, and then after that, money gets pushed into people's pockets or entities' pockets. And that's why, and now it's come to the end. The end is this. They don't want them finding out, or the people finding out, what they've been up to. The EU have been involved in the filth, and all these other Western countries. So now they don't want to find people to find out that they've been using Ukraine as one big fat money box. So they've been pumping money into the Ukraine to protect it. And guess what? No. What's going on right now in the Ukraine is nothing short but genius. Now, we know that President Trump, Putin, Xi have been working together. We know in the Q drops, it says that they are allies. Okay? And that, remember, now Putin, what you got to remember about Putin did take down the deep state in Russia and in those in these other countries around Russia as well. He took down the oligarchs, which is the big players, elites, okay, and he is the lesser of two evils. Basically, yeah, in the process, he enriched himself, okay, but he has also done wonders for Russia. Now, whoever's playing Putin, that's irrelevant. What I'm saying is that Putin did, back in the day, expose the New World Order and said about it. Okay? Now, he did take down the oligarchs and took control over them, and they were giving him money, and he did destroy the deep state over there. Now, as I said, he is the lesser of two evils. Now, what's happening at this point is this: controlled military operations. In order to bring in this World War III scare necessary event that is spoken in Q Drop 521. I say to people, how do you think we're going to get to a worldwide EBS? Aliens attacking from God knows outer space and all that? No, it's not going to be that. It's going to be something that makes sense to the mass consciousness, and I've always stood by my guns. For many years, ladies and gentlemen, those who watch me know exactly what I've been saying. Now, we're seeing that translate right now. So what's happening is that you got Putin and Trump. Now, would you say that Putin's showing a lot of restraint? Now, as I said, had it been Trump that had copped that swarm of, well, you know, just say it was the Ukraine, there would have been a crater called the Ukraine. That's what would have been left, all right? Because at the end of the day, Putin is Russia's president. Now, obviously, there was retaliation, wasn't there? And that is warranted. That is warranted, but people got to remember that President Trump said, he's going around bombing everywhere. No, he's bombing controlled locations. So basically, he's not killing people, as in the civilians. He's going after certain targets. Now, think about this. How do you go after deep state targets or targets and make it, make sense to the mass consciousness, as in, so you can bring in a World War III by doing this, so it looks like they're at heads with each other, but at the same time, do this to bring down these deep state targets. You've got to stage this whole thing. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Now, before I get into this more, into what's going on, I want to say, to those veterans, about the Memorial Day, when they call people the fallen, I don't like that. I call them the beacons of light. That's what I like to call them. Now, let me show you something, ladies and gentlemen, that I did in honor of our veterans, okay, that gave their lives so, to defend their homeland. Now, this Memorial Day is basically to honor, I don't like to call them the fallen, because to me, they're not fallen. Okay, they're certainly not fallen at all. Let me just see if I can find it, ladies and gentlemen. I've got it right here. Okay, here we go. And I said, let's take some time out in our day, in quietness and peace, and be in the attitude of gratitude. That's what we need to do. Memorial Day is to take time out to be in the attitude of gratitude for those who gave their lives and also those who served without hesitation on the battlefield. So we can have true freedom because they were fighting for true freedom. And I want to say to Tank Daddy, my brother, I thank you for your service. You're awesome. We thank you for your service and send you love and respect. We are thankful and grateful for what you've done for all of us. We appreciate you, and may God always have you in his loving embrace and warm embrace. You are not the fallen. You are the beacons of light and the unsung heroes. Where we go one, we go all. And I just did this little 8-second clip. Whoops. Let me play that back. I didn't put the volume. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Whoops. Let me go back. Sorry, guys. Here we go. And you know what? We need to take that time out in our quiet contemplation and be in the attitude of gratitude. Because, honestly, they fought for true freedom. Now, the ones up the top had nefarious reasons is irrelevant. It's what they fought for was the true freedom. We know that World War II and World War I, what they were fought for. We don't need to revisit that. But we need to remember what those who gladly gave their lives and those who fought, was their intention was for true freedom for all, for all to benefit from. So thank you very much, Tank Daddy. God bless you, brother. And to those who have served and to those who are now the beacons of light, thank you. Now, we're at this point. I know you're still here, Tank Daddy, and thank God you're here. You're not going anywhere, all right? We've still got a lot to do, all right? Love you too, brother. Thank you. You're awesome. Now, this is the thing. What we need to get. This is all necessary. Okay, because we need to get to that point where escalation, brings us in to this scare necessary event. Now, as I said, you think about it from Putin's perspective. The helicopter was attacked by a swarm of drones. Now, the Russian military, I've got them right here, are speaking about it, and they've got every weapon under the sun to be able to get rid of the drones, just like the United States. Let's have a listen.
В период с 20 по 22 мая противник предпринял попытку нанесения массированного удара с применением беспилотно-летательных аппаратов самолетного типа по территории Российской Федерации. За данный период времени было уничтожено средствами ПВО 1177 беспилотно-летательных аппаратов противника.
И во время данной атаки в Курской области работал президент России.
Совершенно верно. В период времени, когда президент работал в Курской области, противник начал беспрецедентную атаку с беспилотно-летательными аппаратами. Группировкой ПВО в данном районе было уничтожено 46 беспилотно-летательных средств самолетного типа. Обращаю внимание, что интенсивность атаки во время пролета борта Верховного Главнокомандующего на территории Курской области значительно возросла. Поэтому мы одновременно вели противовоздушный бой и обеспечили безопасность в воздухе пролета вертолета президента. Задача была выполнена. Атака беспилотников противника была отражена, и все воздушные цели были поражены.
То есть вертолет президента фактически находился в зоне боевых действий?
Да, именно так.
Now, you think about it, had that been President Trump's helicopter, as I said, there would have been some major damage, right? Now, President Trump turned around and said, I didn't know that was the case when he was calling Putin crazy. The Commander-in-Chief knows, if we know, you can bet your bottom dollar he knew. Okay? If the mainstream media brought it out, and Trump said, and they say, did you hear it? It was on the mainstream media, President Trump. Oh, no, I didn't hear it. Don't you think that's an insult to our intelligence? And don't you think for a moment that the Commander-in-Chief knows things before we do? Are you serious right now? You know what I mean? This is the thing. This is the President Trump plays coy. You know what I mean? He plays this little game of his. And that's what I'm saying. You know, I want to... He said about, you know, Putin being crazy, and then when the reporter turned around to him and said, but didn't you hear? I was laughing because I know that what President Trump knows. Don't you worry. We know that he knows even before all of us. Are you serious? I mean, he's the Commander-in-Chief. He's got all that information. But let's have a look at this gaggle, ladies and gentlemen, that he just had recently, you know. Let's have a look at this clip right here. But... as I said, let's have a look at this. Before we get into the gaggle, he said this. What Vladimir Putin does realize is that if it weren't for me, lots of really bad things would have happened already to Russia. And I mean really bad. I mean, yes, we know. Obviously, President Trump stepped in as well and with the alliance took down the deep state. And I mean really bad. He's playing with fire. Now, let's have a look at the numbers, ladies and gentlemen. Number one, 11 plus 4 equals 19, which equals, we know what that equals. 19, which is President Trump's in control. He's given us, you know, obviously comms. Another thing is, when we add 11 plus 44, we get 55, which is, ladies and gentlemen, our famous little Q drop, which is this one. Look to Twitter, exactly this. My fellow Americans, the storm is upon us. God bless. And you're seeing that things are escalating, so you could see why we would be getting those kind of comms. It's right there in front of our face. Obviously, the escalation is increasing, and this translates to this drop. That makes perfect sense. And also 55 is a 5 mirror, 5 of 5. Comms are clear. So already we know what's really going on, and we know who's really in control. So let's have a roll of this clip, ladies and gentlemen, of President Trump's gaggle. Now what I did was I edited it to cut straight down to it. All right? And let's go through it together. In the meantime, thumbs up, great comment. Let's share this all around the place. Here we go.
The one big, beautiful bill, and it is a big...
Okay, so he's speaking about the one big, beautiful bill. That was very interesting, right? Let me see if I can get this one, download this one, because I prepared something before, which I need to show you because it will make perfect sense. Now, the big, beautiful bill, what about something else? Which is very interesting. And remember that President Trump, you know, they say 45th-47. We know, I mean, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to work out the dash's continuation. We know that that's the logical explanation of it, right? Now, let me show you. Let me just download this, ladies and gentlemen, and I can show you because I prepared something. All right, just give me a quick moment while I sort this out. And as I said, in the meantime, thumbs up, great comments, let's share this around the place. Now, as you know, oh, what happened to me? Okay, can you guys see me? I disappeared. I don't know what happened there. Just give me a thumbs up that you guys can see me because I sort of went out. I'm back again. Now, as I said, the big beautiful bill. President Trump, 45th to 47. The dash means continuation. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to work it out, that it means that he was running the show. And I've said that's why we get the 19 comms, because the 19 represents the 19th president. Not everyone says, oh, he's the 19th. No, it means go back to the 19th president, Rutherford Hayes, who was the 19th president, and the common denominator was they were both sworn in secrecy. Right? They were sworn in secrecy, just like President Trump was, which means he was running the show. That's why they keep talking about the auto pen. Who was the one controlling the auto pen? Yeah, he was. Now, bill, a big, beautiful bill. Oh, yes. Let's have a look at this one. When he was the 46, it was called Build Back Better. And when it was 47, it's called Big Beautiful Bill. Now let's look at this, ladies and gentlemen, and let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's including the spaces. Right? Now, 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 equals Q. Let's go to the number 47, the big beautiful bill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Is it 18? Is it 18? I think it is 18, isn't it? But look at this. Big beautiful bill was 17. Sorry, Build Back Better, 17. 17 equals Q. Okay? Both also have the BBB. So realistically speaking, we know who's really in control. We know that it's President Trump is in control. Do you think it's a coincidence why we got here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17. No, you're right, 17, 18, sorry, 18. I got ahead of myself. Sorry. Oh, I was excited the 17 number was going to come up. But no, they've both got 18 spaces in it, right? So let's just count it again. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. How, 5? 5, 5, 10. Right? No, that's 17. Build Back Better 17. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, 17 is Build Back Better. So can you call it a coincidence? No. So realistically speaking, who was really in control? There you go. Right? So we did get a 17 to CFCB can get excited. There you go. We did. The common denominator, though, ladies and gentlemen, is the BBB. So in other words, we look for what, ladies and gentlemen? Don't we look for mirrors? And there's your mirror. Build Back Better, Big Beautiful Bill. Therefore, mirrors are important, as Q says, and we got a 5 of 5. Comms are clear. We know who's been in control of this whole thing the whole time. It's been President Trump. We got the 17 over there, right? When we add all these up, and also the BBB is BBB initials here as well. And you know, as I said, mirrors are very, very important, right? You can't make this stuff up. Now, I'm going to show you something else that's going to blow your socks. So you said, let me show you something. Number one, the first big, beautiful bill under supposed Biden equals 17. The other one under Trump, which is the big, beautiful bill. So under Biden, it was the Build Back Better. – 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17. 17 18. Now, have a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. And now you are going to see something and it can't make it up. It is definitely a whiteout production. Here we go. Pay attention. Number 1, BBB Biden 17, including the character spaces. Sorry, Build Back Better, BBB. Trump's Big Beautiful Bill equals 18. 1 plus 7 equals 8. 1 plus 9, 1 plus 8 equals 9. 9 plus 8 equals 17. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. We get a 17. And there we go. So we've got a 17 there. And we add it all up. We get another 17. There we go. That's why we come to a Master Decode FCB. That's why we work it out together. Right? You can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. So as I said, BBB Biden, his Build Back Better equals 17. We know who's been in control, 46, which is Trump. Remember the little dash? Yeah, continuation. BBB, right? Trump, Big Beautiful Bill equals 18. Equals 1 plus 7 from the Biden, the Build Back Better, right? 1 plus 8 was 18 from Trump's Big Beautiful Bill equals 17 equals Q equals whiteouts in control. Can't make that stuff up. Boom! Smashed it. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. So can you see already how we know that President Trump is in control as he always is? And there you go. Don't you worry. He's always had this. Remember, he's had to do what he's had to do to provide contrast. That's why during this time, if I was only the president, yeah, okay, you were the commander in chief. You were the president. You were just like Rutherford Hayes, the 19th. That's why we go to those comms, 19. Does it all make sense, ladies and gentlemen? It's great stuff, isn't it? There we go. We knew we were going to get somewhere in the end, didn't we? Together we did it. Thank you. Much appreciated. Now, let's go. Let's move forward. This one right here. That's why when he said the Big Beautiful Bill, I knew something was up. Build Back Better, knew something was up. And you can see when you put it all down on pen and paper, or digital pen and paper, shall we say, including the spaces, you can see that we got the 17. We had another 17, which is the Build Back Better. So therefore we go 17 plus 17 as well. We get 34. And who's the one that was in control? Good old Q plus. Right? And we got a 5 of 5. Comms are clear. Thank you very much, President Trump, for letting us know through the comms. That's why he does things. People think, oh, why would he call it the Big Beautiful Bill? Well, now we know, don't we, ladies and gentlemen, because you come to a master decoder, somebody that pays attention to everything, and we do this together. Where we go one, we go all. Together we are strong. Together we are strong. And you can see that with this right now is fact, evidence, and receipts. I'm showing you how we've come to these conclusions. I'm not just scribble. It just is. We're sitting there, we're explaining it, we're getting it together. Knowledge is power. We are sharing the knowledge. We are brothers and sisters in common unity. Right. Now, as I said, you think about it. What's the coincidence? There are no coincidences. What does Q says? How many coincidences before it becomes mathematically impossible? And if we go to the Q drops as well, it even tells us this. So we go to the Q drops and it tells us Q drop 3414. And it says only anons can appreciate the continued validations confirmation through covert series of mathematically impossible coincidences means in order to maintain structural integrity. So in other words, for Q to give validity for the statements and all the comms that we get and future proofs past and all that, we use mathematics to be able to validate and confirm these covert series of, shall we say, the comms that we get. The covert comms, they're hidden comms. And those who know, as we do, we decode things together and we get it. Makes sense, doesn't it? So we know why he keeps saying, big, beautiful bill. Thank you very much, President Trump. We finally got it in the end. Okay? Anyway, let's continue on.
Beautiful bill. And the Speaker has been working with the leader of the Senate, and, they've done a great job, John Thune. And
we've done a great job, John Thune and good old Speaker Johnson. Oh, yes, those two right there. We know they're bad seeds, don't we? We don't have to go through this over and over again. And we know the story of Job, don't we? No, just in case we don't know, well, FCB will remind you the story of Job. Okay? Because he says Job, we know he means Job, and we know when he says great job, how many times have we heard it? Great job. Yeah, great job. Yeah, we know what great job means. Okay? It means that those who were basically tempted failed because they took into temptation. Like, Job was tested in Scripture. All right? And that's what I'm saying. President Trump does things by design. And he's testing them like good old Mike. Oh, no, Mr. Mike Johnson. No. No, Mike Johnson is bought and sold. He's a sellout just like John Thune. Remember the video I played about John Thune? How he was selling out Trump back in the day, and Mr. Speaker Johnson is a sellout because he's sold out from AIPAC, right? And he's saying, great job. Yeah, we know what you mean, President Trump. We know what you mean because we know that these entities right there, these two entities, have been bought and sold off. Oh, well, don't you worry. We're going to go into that a little bit later on as to the bought and sold off, okay? Because it's all going to connect up. People really need to know the truth. Let me see if I've got the story of Job at hand. Oh, yes, I have. God tested Job by allowing Satan to test him and see if he still remains faithful and loyal to God. Did they remain faithful and loyal to the people? Did they remain faithful and loyal to Trump? Did John Thune? Did the others? Remember Peter Hegseth, what he said about Trump originally? Yeah, great job, Pete. Yes.
Mike Johnson have done a fantastic job.
President Trump, he's under federal investigation.
Okay. This is the genius of this man. Q drop 4. Let's go to Q drop 4, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to explain this next part. Remember when we said that we are heading towards closer and closer towards 11.3, 11.4, and we know what that means. It's game over. We know that there's going to be major arrests, and we know that President Trump during this time is going to remain, shall we say, neutral for pure optical reasons. Well, we're seeing that translate right now. Because at the moment, what are they going to be speaking about? Have you heard about Andrew Cuomo? How he's been involved in some naughty stuff to do with the COVID. Oh, no, Andrew and I get on well. Pretty much this. When the shit hits the fan and these players start to get arrested, he's going to wipe his hands clean and just, he's really now. I thought we were great friends and all that. Oh, you're going to hear this right now about Andrew Cuomo. All right, let's have a listen to what he's saying.
Do you have a comment on that and how that should impact the mayoral election coming up?
No, I was surprised. I didn't know exactly. I just read about it just like you did, having to do with Andrew. I've known Andrew, and we've had an on-off relationship. He was saying the great...
You know when he was saying he was laughing? We have had an on-off relationship. Did you hear that little laughter in his voice? You know what that means. Okay? He was saying that he was saying about Trump being the greatest president.
There's things about me, I'm the greatest president, etc.
Now, you would say that President Trump is playing the neutral card right there for optics. Right there, ladies and gentlemen. So we're seeing that Q Drop 4 is going to be, it's coming, where he's going to be playing this little neutral card, but you're seeing it translate right now in, what's been said. And Kiyomo is going to, remember, it's going to happen publicly. And he mentions about the Mercy ship, how he sent the Mercy ship over there to help Kiyomo out in New York, and how he rejected it, and he built all these beds and all these things in New York, and he rejected it. It's funny, isn't it?
And then the next day it hit us, but I did a lot for them. I brought in the ship during the COVID crisis. I brought in the Mercy ship, and I built about 3,000 units in the Javits Convention Center, and he didn't use them.
He didn't use them. Remember, Mr. Kiyomo, what he did? Oh, yes. Let's go and put the old people with the sick people with COVID, or, whatever they are, whether they had fake COVID or, flus or whatever, and then, kill them off. Remember that those trucks with the, remember those trucks with the coal trucks and all that sort of stuff? How they sent them off to the mirror yonder, so to speak. How Kiyomo did that nice little, it wasn't nothing nice about it. In fact, he committed genocide, and so did many others. And there needs to be a price to be paid for it. Now, President Trump's playing this little game of his now. He thinks I'm the greatest president, and he's playing the neutral card. And we know what Kiyomo is all about, don't we? Yes, it was one of the 5 right there with Gretchen, good old Gretchen, Stretching Gretchen. Remember her? And Tom Wolfe and Phil Murphy and Gavin Newscomb that basically play this little game of theirs. And look at that, 45 out of 50 governors did not force COVID-19 infected patients into the nursing home. So which 5 were they? You're looking at them right there. Okay? And you know that he's being mentioned in the Q drops. And Q tells us that, do you see how they're hooked up with each other? So how Kiyomo, his brother Chris Kiyomo, are hooked up in the mainstream media. And I don't think the best of Chris Kiyomo as well. He's playing this little News Nation game. I mean, they're going to collapse, don't you worry. The nursing home deaths. And people haven't forgotten about Kiyomo killed their mothers and, what he did, all that genocidal shit. You know what I mean? Look at that. There needs to be a price. Now, obviously, President Trump has to play this little game of his at this moment where it's like, you know what? No, Andrew and I are the best. No, you're not the best of friends. All right? You're not, he said that Kiyomo spoke lovely of him and all that. We know this is all optics, as Q says. And remember, when people start to get arrested, like Kiyomo and many others, all right, guess what's going to happen? Okay, he's going to sit there and play the neutral card, play the game right through it. Okay? How he's being investigated. What's it here? Makes massive gains in New York City mayoral race. Okay, so there's Zoran. Let me just show you. Obviously, there's a reason to rhyme why this is happening. And there's a reason to rhyme why they have Kiyomo running as mayor as well. Zoran Mandamny makes massive gains in New York City mayoral race, but still can't topple Kiyomo's lead. Really now. Would you say it's like a future-proof past scenario? Yes, definitely. Is it a way of reintroducing and bringing Kiyomo back into the mix? Yes. Yes, so don't get mad why he's coming back in there and he's leading the mayoral race. That's all been done by design in order to reintroduce a narrative and to bring Cuomo back into the public consciousness, because guess what? He may be seeing that he's in the lead, but what do they say? The higher you go, the much more you got to fall. And that's exactly what's going on. And he's been prepared for the major fall. Can you see the genius of what President Trump is doing? And you know what? Good on him. Good on him. I mean, it's about time that we start seeing some action of Cuomo being brought down. Have you heard about Cuomo's little... Yeah, no, we've heard about it. It's about time, because remember, we were called a bunch of conspiracy theorists. You remember that back in the day? Okay? Where we were called all these names, and now it's all coming out into the light. Now it's all coming into light. Where's the conspiracy theories now? Where are they gone? Where are the people that used to call us conspiracy theorists? They've pretty much become crickets. Justice Department opens up inquiry into Andrew Cuomo's COVID-19 response. And they're bringing that narrative back in. Can you see the genius of this man? And don't you worry, what do you think Stretch and Gretchen was brought back into the equation in the Oval Office? It was done by design. As I've shown you, that those entities have been involved in the great culling. Oh, don't you worry. The day of reckoning is coming. Don't you worry about that one. Let's continue on.
I don't understand it. He wanted him, but he didn't use him. But I hope it's going to be okay. I hope it's not going to be serious for him.
You know, when he says it, you think to yourself, is he going to burst out laughing? Because, how can you think about this. How can you keep a straight face, a poker face like his, without laughing your head off? Because you know what's coming their way. The axe.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. How's that one? No. I hope nothing happens to him. Let's see what happens. Oh, yeah. Let's see what happens. And make sure when it does happen that the ones that used to call us conspiracy theorists, they see it happen as well. Okay?
President, could you provide us an update on Russia and Ukraine as well?
Okay, so this is where he talks about Putin. How, Putin's bad and Putin's playing with fire and Putin this and Putin that. Putin, and he's gone crazy. And then the reporter turned around and said, but didn't you hear about that his helicopter was attacked?
Yeah, I'll give you an update. I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time, always gotten along with him. But he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all, okay?
You know, the way he says things, it's like, yeah, we know. You got to listen to his expression. The way he expresses things, the way he says things, it's like he's putting on a bit of a, after all, we are enjoying the show. And he's got to play this game. Remember, he's got to play this neutral game with Cuomo. We know that Cuomo was part of this genocide that took place in New York. And he's saying, I hope he's going to be okay, but let's see what happens. But then you got about, Putin that's working, or whoever's working with Russia and all that. We know that it's working, in conjunction, in alliance. Q tells us this. But then he's got to play this game in order to bring in, obviously, the scare necessary event.
We're in the middle of talking, and he's shooting rockets into Kiev and other cities. I don't like it at all.
President, what do you want to do about that?
I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. We'll see.
I'm surprised. I'm very surprised, really, now. No. And this is the thing, as I said, be logical. He's the commander-in-chief, right? He's got access to everything you could possibly imagine. He knows things before we know about it. And then he acts surprised. Are you serious? And then he says about, I didn't hear about him being attacked by a swarm of UAVs, or what do they call them? Those drones by Ukraine. I didn't know about it, but it was in the newspaper. I mean, we knew about it, and you're saying that you didn't know about it? Can you see, ladies and gentlemen, how ridiculous this is?
What we're going to do? What am I going to tell you? You're the fake news, aren't you? You're totally fake. All right, any other questions? I don't like what Putin is doing, not even a little bit. He's killing people. And something happened to this guy, and I don't like it. That's all I have to say.
And can I follow up on that? A Russian commander reportedly said that Putin was almost caught in the middle of a drone attack from Ukraine.
There you go. See, he says, I don't like it. Putin's gone crazy. All that sort of stuff. Right? He's going off his face. And then all of a sudden, he's confronted with a reporter and saying, oh, but didn't you hear about what happened with Putin with a helicopter and he was attacked by Ukrainian drones? Let's have a listen to his response.
So do you have any...
I haven't heard that, but maybe that would be a reason.
Maybe that would be a reason. Oh, yes, Commander-in-Chief, that would definitely be a reason. Okay, let's be honest. Because had it happened to you, you would have sent out your hit squad and that would have been game over. All right? He was saying how crazy and angry he was with Putin and all that. And you're telling me, think about this, ladies and gentlemen, logically. Commander-in-Chief, access to everything. And you're telling me that a reporter is going to tell him things that have been on the news and he doesn't hear about it? Are you serious right now? And this is the thing, don't people think with their brain? Seriously?
I don't know, but I have not heard that.
I have not heard it. We've heard about it before you did. It doesn't make any sense.
On Harvard, do you think you'll come for their endowment in any way or go after?
Okay, now they're talking about Harvard. Harvard University, this is very important because Harvard University had the Harvard University Muslim alumni. Okay, they were, remember who was groomed there? It was Obama. Okay, many others were groomed there. You know, they were, brought in by Saudi Arabia. Money was brought in by Saudi Arabia. That's why President Trump went to Saudi Arabia and cleaned shop in 2017. He went there first. Harvard University, right, number one, Obama was giving billions and billions of dollars. Now think about why would you be giving billions of dollars to one university? Are you serious right now? Billions and billions of dollars. What for? Yeah, no, we know why. Because it was, obviously, putting money into people's pockets. Okay? And also done by design to weaken America because the people that were grooming, they were bringing in, like Obama, to weaken America. And we know there's quite a few of them that are involved with the Harvard University Muslim alumni. And President Trump saying, well, we're not going to be doing that anymore. And think about this. How do you do that? You play the game. The anti-Semite card. Remember, they've been using the anti-Semite card against the United States of America and the rest of the Western world and the world. But now President Trump, the genius that he is using that anti-Semite label against them. And he says, oh, because Harvard University is anti-Semite, okay, we're going to take away their billions of dollars. And because of we're going to go and do an investigation and see where those billions of dollars are going. Well, who's been getting those billions and billions of dollars now? Yeah, we know it's all going to go back to good old Saudi Arabia. And those involved, these deep staters. And it's all been done by design to reintroduce a narrative. This is the genius of this man. How amazing is it?
Well, look, part of the problem with Harvard is that there are about 31%, almost 31% of foreigners coming to Harvard. We get
31%. Now, that's a huge chunk, isn't it? 31% is a huge chunk to come to Harvard, isn't it? Because why would you allow 31% foreign students in there? And also, ladies and gentlemen, he's given us comms. Q drop 31. World stalemate. There we go. He said 31. It's a mirror. World stalemate. We all have the goods on everyone else. That's part of the reason why some things that tie back to foreign heads, because he's talking about foreign students. There we go. We've got a 5 of 5 comms are clear. That will remain classified, not all. We are in one of the most crucial times of our country. Trump and others are working to balance, and, obviously we are doing well for America, for the common person to endorse. Now, think about this. This MAGA movement that was created was done to get the common person, meaning the mass consciousness, to organically endorse President Trump. That's why it was necessary to do what he did, to provide the contrast of Biden, which we know that he was in control, and that auto pen that was being used was controlled by him. The 19 comms is to go back to Rutherford Hayes and to basically work at that common denominator that they were both inaugurated in secrecy. Okay? And that's exactly what it's all about. It's creating that contrast so therefore people would endorse President Trump organically, the common person, meaning everybody, not left or right, it doesn't matter. As Q says, it's not about Republicans or Democrats. While at the same time purify our government, which is happening and has happened, and remove the bad actors who are entrenched. There is so much string pulling and blackmail, and we need to cut these off to truly gain the power granted to us by the patriots and hard-working people of this great nation, done by design. In order to be able to bring America together, to gain the control, the endorsement of the common person, meaning everybody, okay, because we are, part of the common unity, okay, it needed to be done organically. And that was done. That's why this whole Jan 6 business took place. That's why everything had to be done this way, so President Trump can say, well, see, America had a taste of prosperity as the 45th president. Then there was still, because of the rhetoric of the mainstream media, and there was deep state elements that were trying to get the country into a state of civil war. That's why January 6th was necessary, and it was staged and done by design, okay, in order to create this Biden era as President Trump, the 46th. He was the one running it, okay, and pulling the strings. And it was necessary to do what was done in order to provide contrast. See, under Biden, this and this and this and that and that and this and that. But it was all controlled, all necessary for the greater good of, as I said, for the country, because it was divided. Now, having that contrast and to be able to show, well, look, we had open borders, we had this, we had that, and President Trump would use every opportunity to go out there and not only approach, say, the right side, but the left. And they controlled, the mainstream media, and they used the platforms. They used those leftist podcasters, their reach, the corrupt, their reach, like, Alex Jones and Joe Rogan and all the rest of these podcasters, to be able to get the message out there to the common person and to get their endorsement organically. And it has happened. Now that this has happened, now that you could see that people have moved across, regardless of what we know to what they know, they have been supporting President Trump, as I said, the common person, okay, in order to avoid civil war. That's what it's been done. So therefore, we've got a 5 of 5, comms are clear. And we know what's going on right now, because a lot of this ties to foreign heads of state, leaders. Epstein Island ties to a lot of leaders. The state of Israel ties to a lot of leaders, foreign heads, leaders. Ukraine, the same thing. That's why President Trump is talking about the Harvard University, because they have been behind grooming Obama and others in order to weaken America. And as you know, if America falls, so does the rest of the world. And this is all done by, President Trump. He's a genius, a master strategist, someone that needs to do what he had to do. And it has to be done this way, as Q says. The only way is the plan. And what they're doing now is reintroducing a narrative. And, we give billions of dollars to Harvard University. For what? Well, we're going to find out why.
Give them billions of dollars, which is ridiculous. We do grants, which we're probably not going to be doing much grants anymore to Harvard. But they're 31%, but they refuse.
That's why he keeps saying the 31%, ladies and gentlemen. Q dropped 31. There you go.
To tell us who the people are. We want to know who the people. Now, a lot of the foreign students, we wouldn't have.
There you go. So you got the word foreign. That is mirrored by no coincidence. He says foreign students. Now, as I said, we go to the Q drop, 31, and it's got the word foreign. So you can't call it a coincidence. How many coincidences before you call it mathematically impossible? And we know we're getting definitely a 5 of 5, comms are clear, President Trump. And we know that you're doing this, and we